In this week's parasha of Behar, the Torah addresses the situation of a Jew whose financial hardships compelled him to sell himself as a servant to a Gentile master. "V'chi tasig yad ger v'toshav imach umach achicha imo v'nimkar lager toshav imach." The Torah instructs the servant's family members to redeem him from servitude as quickly as possible, and establishes that Geulah payment, that redemption, is determined based on the year in the Yovel cycle, because the Gentile master living under Bnei Yisrael's authority must release the servant at the onset of Yovel, and thus, if a family redeems the servant before the Yovel, the calculation of the amount to be paid will depend on the number of years remaining until that 50th year. It's in this context that the Torah also commands, "Lo yodena befarach leinecha." He shall not impose hard labor upon him before your eyes. Before the servant's family is capable of redeeming their relative, the nation bears responsibility to ensure that that servant does not suffer at the hands of his Gentile master. If they see the master mistreating or overburdening the servant, they have to intervene to rescue their fellow Jew from torment. Chazal and Torat Kohanim note that the seemingly unnecessary word in this phrase, le'enecha, before your eyes, and they explain that the Torah commands Bnei Israel to intervene only if they witness or otherwise become aware of mistreatment. Because the people are not required to pay regular visits to the Gentile home to ensure that the servant receives proper treatment, they only act if they determine that he indeed suffers mistreatment. Rav Yehuda Leib Ginsburg of Denver, in his Yalkut Yehuda, comments that this principle of le'enacha can also be applied to all areas involving interpersonal relationships. As he writes, we shouldn't be searching for flaws in other people's lives, even in the home of those who are not part of our community. Only if we see that person acting improperly do we then have a responsibility to approach him. For while we must certainly stand guard against dangerous people, we must never treat others with a de facto attitude of suspicion, searching through other people's lives for mistakes, for flaws. If even in the situation of a non-Jewish master who feels no kinship with the Jewish servant and might be likely to mistreat him, the Torah advises us against excessive supervision, all the more so in relating to each other. We must avoid baseless suspicion and mistrust and give one another the benefit of the doubt until we may have, God forbid, valid reason to do otherwise. It's when it's le'enecha. We need to respond when we see things, but we don't have that obligation to constantly be searching, assuming the worst of others. Our responsibility is to assume the best.